For those of us that were able to carry out our tasks, you all did a good job. Clap for yourself. So, the last class, we talked about how to create collections and how to run them on Postman runner. So today we'll be looking at the how to run your automation on command line or terminal. So let me just quickly do a recap from the last class. So the last class, I taught us how to create API endpoints for a project, and we using this request API project for an example. So this project is a dummy API, is a dummy REST API that is created that you can always use for sample. So this is the application here, and these are the API endpoints. So this guy here is presented to us as an API documentation. And in the last class, I mentioned sometimes you might require to test an API and you don't have API collection, you don't have API the API documentation, and all what you just have is just it could be just something like this, just this URL. It could be just URL. Like for example, the project I'm currently working on, I'll just send just this only, and I'm to create a collection for this service. So which as you can see, as you can see, this is the URL. So you can see HTTP base URL, then the endpoint. This is the endpoint, and I mentioned in the last class, your URL is always comprises of your base URL and your endpoint. So you can see this is the base URL, which is abbreviated here. So I'm supposed to copy this guy, which is the base URL, and paste in here, then add the endpoint to it. Then this is the body. This is the body of the API request. So I have to pass in this body daily tasks, reflecting, techo, and etc. And same thing I will do for this guy. So I can have as many as possible, endpoints in an URL or an API documentation. So as seen on this URL, it's just two endpoints. I need to create endpoint for my Postman. So as seen on the screen, I was able to create I was able to create the two services. You can see I created the collection folder and added the API endpoint to it as seen on the screen. So you can have multiple folders in a collection, and in a collection you can have as many as possible API endpoints. So you can have as many as possible API endpoints in your folder. So as I mentioned, the beauty of API in a project is just to you know to plan your project on how it's meant to run. And as you can see, while you creating API, while you testing API, there's always a certain order you must follow while creating API. Um, Somebody actually used that initiative while working on the facts. Let me check who that is. So let me check who that is. Okay, this person here. So you can see this person, instead of starting with list user, on the API documentation, you can see the first endpoint we have is list user, single user not found, and etc. And while you testing API, you must there are some certain orders you must follow. For example, it's just like you repeating on um, how to use the application. While testing API, just like you are testing the backend. So you are validating whatever is happening at the backend. Is also what you are getting at the front end. So, for example, this person, this person followed the order. Like registering on the application. I mean, creating an account, then signing up, then dashboard or whatever you want to execute on the application. So this person followed the order. Imagine creating a user, list user, single user. When you get list users on the application, you can always get a single user. Okay, fine, you're able to get the list user. Okay, I'm actually looking for this particular user. So this person did it right. That is Munib. Good job. So this person did single user, then single user not found, updates, and you can see again before any other endpoint, you pass in register user unsuccessful, then login access unsuccessful, and display. And your question, Emmanuel, you can also test, for the negative scenario while testing API. For example, you might have only this guy, in your API documentation, like login. Then using your initiative, okay, let me see, okay, for invalid login, let me see the response, I will get at the back end and validate with response I will get from the front end. I do that a lot when I'm testing API. I will have the APK app or the iOS version of the application. I will go on my API, which is the backend. I'll go on my API, which is the backend. Then I will perform the login. I'll perform the login function. And okay, let me just do an example now. So let me just assume I want to perform a login function on this application. My system's going. So let's continue. So let's assume I want to perform a login function on the application, and I did sign up. And when you sign up on an application, there are some application that requires um, authentication or authorization. So, and I will give us some tips, why testing API. You authenticate while testing API, and you test for authorization while testing API. So let's say this application is built that, okay, when you perform a sign up functionality, you're supposed to get an OTP, to validate, okay, you registered on the application with correct number or valid data. So this is the reason why OTP is being set on some various applications why they perform. So that OTP is serving as a token for you to use the application. And I explained further what OTP does. I mean what token does on application. It serves as security gateway for you to have access to application and for you to perform for you to perform any functionality you want to perform on the application. And also OTP is also has a time window, maybe after being active, for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, the OTP token, gets expired. And for every login you perform, there is always a unique token generated, on the application. So this for an example now. Just for an example now, let me just assume, okay, I perform a login on this application, and I will get this return value. And okay, this one doesn't have any message, but it returns me a token, for me to have access to the application. And I mentioned how we use token, how token is meant to be used while performing API testing. So that's it. Then I talked about running your. I talked about adding tests to your API. While testing. So I mentioned while testing API. Firstly, you maybe you get the API collection, via URL or via API documentation. First thing you need to do, you need to test manually. I taught us how to test API manually. Then after testing manually, then you start adding tests to your API. Let's take this for an example now. Imagine I'm supposed to test this endpoint, which is list user. I will set my base URL. If I need to pass in any authorization, maybe token, I will come to my authorization panel here and add token. And if there is a need for me to add parameters, this param is called parameters. If there is any need for me to add parameters, if there is any need to add parameters parameters to your API, always being documented on the API documentation. All you just need to do, get the value of the parameter from the documentation and add in here. Then if you need to set the authorization, I said earlier, you set it, then you click on send. So the response you get from the response body while you consume the API endpoint. This the same response body you will use, to to create a test script, for you to validate your response body. Imagine I send this request as list user. So imagine I send this request as a list user, and I get this response body while I test. Okay, this is happening because I have not changed my environment. So let me switch my environment and perform this request again. So I'm just going to send this request again and see. Don't know why my system is slowing down. Please, when it's time for question, you drop your question. Okay. I think I'm having same issue with you. And so let me check the. Okay, you can see there's your. Okay, I'm not using the right. Let me use the existing one. Let me use this guy here. And I created myself. So let's assume I send this request. You can see this is the response body from the request I sent. Sorry guys, let me quickly close all this stuff. I think that's why my Postman is slowing. Sometimes you might need to close all this stuff if you are not working on them. So you don't have consumption of memory, not slowing down your CPU. Yeah. So that one. So let me assume I don't have this resisting test. Yeah, man. What's my tab space button not working? Okay. I don't know why my back looks is not working. So I've clear up the pre-existing test and imagine I've already created this API request, which is this user. I've added the method. I've setting my base URL. We all know how to set our base URL and how to set environment. So imagine I send this request and I have this response body. So and as a QA, it's always advisable you test all the endpoints, manually. Like you test this guy, execute this guy, execute this guy, execute this guy, execute this guy. Test everything manually and check for their response. So I will assume I've tested this guy manually. So this is how to test manually. And if I need to add tests, to validate, okay, if by chance I need to run all this API collection, in Postman run now, I want to know, okay, at which point, at which point any of these endpoints is failing, and I need to validate, okay, if my test passes or fail. So, for example, this list user now, I have certain list of users that was being created, in the database or the server. Please, can you stop gisting in the server? So these are the pre-existing users. So I want to validate that, okay, but okay, tomorrow I need to check, okay, if Michael Lawson still exists in the database, and I need to add a test script for this guy. So all I need to do is just come to the test here, click on test, and Postman has helped us, to create some pre-existing snippet we can use to validate our response body. And I also give us a link in the last class, where you can also find more test script and how to create how to write test script to add to your API endpoints. So if you look at the snippet on the right side of your screen, um, and I mentioned the features. You look out for while testing API. I mentioned you are supposed to look for the status code. the time it took to execute, the response body, validate the response body, and while validating response body means you are using this snippet means body contains string. Maybe you are looking for Michael, so you can use this test script to validate that okay, Michael is in this response body every time you consume the endpoints. So for me to validate, okay, Michael is in the database when I perform this get method, I can come here and click on this guy, which is response body contains string. So when I click on this guy, it automatically generates the test script here. You can see body matches string. So I can just come here and add the string I'm looking for. So let me say I'm looking for Michael. So sometimes it's advisable, you copy and paste, not typing, so you don't have error. So I've passed in my first test script to say, okay, Postman validate that anytime I consume this endpoint, I want to fetch Michael. Michael is in the database, or Michael is in the response body. And remember, you are testing API to validate what you have with your API documentation, which is this guy. So as seen on this documentation, the list user API endpoint says, okay, whenever you execute this request, you are supposed to get your response body in this format. If by chance, okay, you send this request and you see instead of Michael.Lawson, being on the first row here, and you saw Lindsay, Ferguson on the first row here, trust me, that is a failed API endpoint. So you have to report that, and this is the reason why we have this sample API test case script. Imagine I send that request, which is this user, and expected response was to be Michael Lawson, and what I saw on the API response body was Ferguson Lindsay. So I will paste in here my actual response body and my expected response body, and then the method I use in executing the API request. And trust me, I'm going to fail that request because wasn't what I expected to see, on the documentation. So that aside, so I'm testing, okay, if Michael is part of the list of user I sent, and then probably maybe sometimes it might be a login request, and I want to say, okay, whenever I consume this endpoint, it shouldn't take maybe less than 1 minute for me to get a response, or maybe 2 minutes, so I can come here and use my signal and use my um, the response time. So once I click on the response time, which is 200 milliseconds, so this 200 milliseconds, I can increase the test on the time to say, okay, um, 5,000 milliseconds. So that is okay. At most in 5 seconds, when I execute this request, I should get a response from the server. And while you testing API, you are testing API to interact with the server. You are sending in a message to the server to get a response. And trust me, if you are not getting a response from the server, it means maybe the server is down, or the the server optimization is very low. There might be several reasons why you don't get response from the server. And whenever you execute a request, and you are getting a 500 status code, you should know it's always a server error. In the last class, I told us to memorize our status code. Go online, you can Google Postman status code. So the reason why is you might be asked at interview, they will ask you questions, on based on the tools, you know how to use that you've put on your CV. You might tell them you know how to use Postman. You might tell them you know how to use Selenium. You might tell them you know how to use Cypress. They will ask you, okay, you know how to use Cypress. Okay, what is the first thing you do while testing on Selenium? You should be able to answer that question. First thing you need to do, you need to, okay, maybe first step you do, while creating projects on Selenium. So what is the first thing you need to do? You need to create your project package. Then you add in your class, you import your WebDriver, you add in your Selenium jars. So when you give them those steps, okay, then okay, this person knows what is or he or she is doing. And speaking on Postman, okay, you know how to use Postman. Okay, giving you a URL. How do you go about testing this API or API service? What are you going to tell them? First thing I need to do, I have my Postman installed on my machine already. So I will go to Postman, I will go to import and paste in my URL via link or via file if it is JSON file being sent to you. Then if it's the URL, depends on the URL. I might need to create collection folder, for the API endpoint. And if it is JSON file, all I just need to do is to import the JSON file and get access to the API documentation and validate the response body with what I have with the documentation. And also after testing manually, I will start adding my test script to validate the response body for my API automation. So you give them those steps, and everything, so they know what you are doing, even though you are going to get the job and you can work alone. So I've already added the response time. Okay, when I send this request, in less than 5 seconds I should get the response body. Then let's add more tests to this guy. So I can also test for status code. So this is status code should be 200. So this status code is just to signify, okay, once I consume this endpoint, I'm supposed to get a 200 code. So imagine tomorrow, and the reason why we add all these tests, to our endpoint is because, okay, we get to test API, time to time. So imagine maybe a banking application, customer sending a feedback. Okay, he or she has not been able to log in on the app. Trust me, the first thing a tester will do is to go to the API. First thing they need to do is to run the API. So once they run the APIs, they will see, and this is because we've already added these test scripts, for this all the endpoints. So once I run the API, I will know where my fault is. Okay, maybe it's signing. Sign move will fail on the API. Immediately you run the API, and why you run the API is, okay, signing is failed. So you need to sync with the developer. Okay, Oga, also what's happening? I just ran the API now and I saw the signing functionality is failing. Users can't sign in. So the developer will jump on their system and start fixing the issue. So as soon as that is done, the tester will also test again, okay, to validate, okay, this issue is fixed. Then send to developer so the developer can deploy or update his or her script or code. So that is the main essence, why API is always curated. API documentation is always created, for every project or for every application, being it web, mobile, or any operating system, you know, being created for. So you can see the response code I have 200. So if by chance I send, I run this thing on Postman collection and I have a 500, response body or 400 status code, is to validate that, okay, this guy will fail, whenever I run this request because of the status code that is being added to the test script. So let me validate. Okay, I'm expecting 200 status code. Then what test can I add again? What test can I add again? Okay, let's just add those four test scripts. Um, so after adding your test script, you can just click save. So once you click save, you can run your test again. So once I run the test again, as you can see, so if I check in my test, so this is where you check in your test result. So if I click on test result now, I will see, okay, why my test failed. You can see the body matches string fail, assertion, whatever, said Michael. So the my test didn't capture this Michael, in the test script, added to this response. So if I go to the test script and check, then you can see. So you can see, yeah, the Michael was spelled wrong, and that is why it's always advisable, you copy and paste, from the response body to your test script. So let me paste in this guy now. So these are the reason why you add tests to your endpoints. It still fails again.
You didn't paste it. You have not pasted it. It's still different.
Okay, copy. Okay, so let me send again. So you can see I just send again and everything passed. So don't always forget, anytime you consume your endpoint, always click on this save button because you've already updated, your test. So always click. Don't always forget to save your request whenever it's been consumed. So I have tested this endpoint manually and I've already added test script to it. So as explained earlier, this I can say, okay, this API collection is being automated already because I have added test script to it. Okay, if it happens for me to log in on the application, okay, once I sign up on the application, the data created the data created from login is being set to my environment, and once I come to login to execute login functionality, um, the okay, let me show you a sample here. Let me show you a sample on an existing project. So everything is being everything is being automated, whereby you can just wake up tomorrow, come to your API collection. All you just need to just do is just come to this guy here, run collection, and it will run everything to check which is passing and which is failing. You can see, for example, on this application I worked on, you can see I first thing I need to do, I need to get an OTP, to register. So once I once I send in this request, you can see. Um, let me talk about this pre-request script. So this pre-request script is their data, their form of script. You write, that generates dummy data for you, to execute your test. So as seen on the screen, this script now, it is written, to generate a random phone number for me to execute this API request. So if you look at the body, you can see the body, instead of me passing phone number every time, I have to run the collection, every time adding phone number. So I've already written a request script, okay, to always generate phone number for me. So once this guy will run, this request script will run before this test will run. So this guy here, you can see pm.set number. So this phone number is the variable that was being set, to my body. So all I just need to just do is add the 070, then add in the variable, which is the phone number. And I taught us how to set variable to environment and to body. So because I have already set this variable here, which is phone number, to my body, and for you to set a variable, you need to add open double curly braces and curly braces. So you can see here. So once I send in this request, sorry, let me change the environment again. So once I push that request, it will automatically generate a phone number for me. You can see it generated a phone number for me. So if I go to this my HTML code, you can see the phone number is being generated. So these are dummy data, that will always be created, and we have so many scripts, you can use to create a dummy data. For example, if I want to, maybe I have an API that requires me to add country or adding state, adding city, phone number, plate number, registration ID, etc. So this is just a sample way, you can. So note this down. So once you pass in this dollar sign, is it this dollar sign? Um, how do I pass in variable? Um, dollar sign, dollar sign. Okay, we'll come back to that later. Um, the dollar sign. Okay, there's a way. Let me quickly Google it. I think I forget how to add random assertion. So okay, yeah, this is it. So I guess this is it. So you pass in this guy here. How is it not working? Supposed to give me options, while I'm passing in that data. Supposed to give me drop down options while I'm passing that data, but let's skip that. We'll come back to that. So you can see, we're already passing this request. So if I send this, every time I pass in this request, a random phone number will always be generated. You can see this ended with 05. If I send in the request again, you can see it's already changed to 08. So there are several, pre-request scripts, you can always add. So all you just need to do is just pm environment set phone number and pass in this initial value, this random, and then add the lines of numbers you need to add in. So then same thing here, for this request. So you can see you can see you can see this value, guys. You can see this value. I sent in this once I consume this API to get this OTP. So this is the OTP here, which is the 3640. So I need to use this OTP in my next request here, which is confirm the pin set. So if you come to my test script here, I've already passed in a script to say, okay, every time I consume this request here, which is request for OTP, send message for OTP. So you should set this value, this 3640, to my environment, which is this line of script I've passed in here. You can see var json data pm response dot json pm environment set this this variable, this code variable, as json data dot value. So I have told pm to set this value here, as seen here, as code. So if I want to execute this confirm pin set now, instead of me typing the pin here, in this body, I've already set the variable, to be code. So, and we have the the pre-existing phone number, from the first request being sent. So once I execute this endpoint now, you will see it gave me a validation that okay, this confirm pin was okay, from the pin I got in from here. So same thing here, for me to validate the confirm pin, you can see the body here and still the same pin I need to confirm. So if I pass in this request here, it will give me okay status. So I've already validated my OTP and everything. So once I come to register here, I will be able to perform a register um, function, successfully, and you can see my body. All I just need to pass in is just my first name, last name, then random email address, because this is a continual, test. I run the test, maybe like like 5 times a week or 4 times a week. So I don't need to start putting phone numbers. So these are ways, you automate your API. You know, you can see random email, you can see the request script for random email, PS set environment, set variable email, and email to pm dot variable replace with random email. Okay, sorry, this is how you pass in the random guy. So maybe you want to get any random, variable, to add into your test. So this is how you go about it. So you do double curly braces. Then if you need to do random, let's say you need to do random city, you just do city. You just do city. So if I copy this guy, this random city, and where can I use it? Where can I use this guy? Okay, let me put it. Okay, let me just put it here. I just want to show you how this guy works. This is very good thing. Okay, I've already said okay, this email address so should give me random city. So if I click on this my HTML code here now, where is okay, it has not set yet. So, okay, let me come to the body and okay, which am I changing? Okay, random city to the email. So if I come to the body, I need to change the email to random city. So if I pass in this request now, it automatically generates a random city for me. So if you check the HTML code, you can see the email, the email variable is Easton Benton. So let me send again. You can see temple. So it will keep on giving me random, random variable, since because set the um I've already set the variable. So let's do another one. Let's assume you want to do for which can we test for again? Let's do random country. So sometimes you are signing up on an application and you need to get a random country so you can do country. So this, note this script. So once you do open curly braces, then close curly braces, then you do this dollar sign, then you do random. In fact, once you start typing random, you will have been getting options. You can see random abbreviation, random actual image, random animal image, random bank account, random. So it will give you options of random anything you want to, random color, random random country code, random currency name, random email, random. You can see as many as possible. So this is most interesting about Postman and automating with Postman, adding test script to your Postman. So note down this line, guys online. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, because I didn't
Yeah.
hear anything from you guys. I need to check.
Well, I
So
sorry, I have a
We are
question.
with you.
no,
We are
no, please,
following.
not now, not now.
All right.
So this note down this guy here, so you can use it to set any variable you need to use to perform tests. So I'm just going to change back my pre-existing test script I added here. Let me undo. It doesn't affect my work here. Undo. So you can see, so we all know how to, we don't know, we all now know how pre-request script works and how it's being used. So pre-request script, is used to generate, random variable you need to add into your test. You need to add into your endpoint, before your test will run. So if you perform any, if you are to consume any endpoint, so this guy here will first run, because we've already passing pre-request script. Pre is just okay. Do this thing, before the post test, and you can see. So these are script I actually wrote, for this test. So if you look at this test script on my screen, as you can see right now, okay, I've said okay. Anytime I perform this login, this register, this register request, PM should set um, this variable email, this email um, as open curly braces, close curly braces email. You should set it to my environment. PM should also set password to my environment. Then PM should also Postman should also, when I perform this when I execute this endpoint, I'm supposed to get OK. Status code should be equals to OK, which is 200 OK. You can see up here. And also, once I perform this request, PM should set this auth ID. Okay, let me come to login.
It's not visible.
So PM should, set, because when I execute this endpoint, an auth ID is generated for me. So I've told PM that this auth ID should be set to my environment as auth ID. So if I come to my environment now, you will see all the values, all the variables that I have set, you know, that I have set in my environment. You can see where is the auth ID? Where is auth ID? So you can see auth ID. So anytime I consume this endpoint, auth ID that is generated will be generated to my environment, as this value. So this auth ID is this value. So that is that is a little experience I just shared with you guys. So, and the reason why you create environment for your test, the reason why you create some pre-request script for your test, it's always helpful. Maybe you need to call in a variable, and you can always pick it from the environment, to enhance your test script or your test automation. As you can see, like this script now is to set token to my environment. Anytime I perform this login request, you can see var json is equal to response dot json. That is okay. Variable json should set PM response, as JSON. Then VAR variable JSON from token, that is from the response body, should be set as token. So if you come to my environment now, you will see the token value, which is token. Okay, I set it as different tokens. So rider is either rider token or admin token or user or driver token. So whatever variable you are giving in the response body should be equal to this value here. So you can see token will be set to the environment anytime I perform that login request. You can see, okay, I said that on rider token. So this J token here will be giving value as a rider token. So if I come on my body now, if I come to my body now and I need to pass in authorization, you can see rider token is being set in my authorization. So that is that. So I've just used a project that is about to go live, to do an explanation. So this same thing you can also pass in here. You can, add request script. Okay, let me even I will do an example, when we're about to pass in a post request. So this is a way, you add in test script to your endpoints. So we've already passed in the test script, and we've consumed the endpoint, and all our tests passed. So imagine we have run all the we have executed all the endpoint, and we need to run this we need to run this collection folder in Postman runner. And today we'll be looking at how to perform automation on CLI using perform API automation using CLI, which is command line or your terminal. So come to click on this three menu button here, then come to run collection. So once you come to run collection, it will capture all the endpoints, all the API collection, all the API service, in your collection. So you can just click on run run the collection, see. So as seen on the screen, I just have only just four passed and 16 failed. What's happening? Unauthorized, include Michael, not you. So once you run, your API collection, in Postman runner. So once you run your API endpoints, in collection runner, and you see, okay, some API endpoint failed. So you can see, for example, this guy failed here. This is my first test here, that body matches string. So all I just need to do is just come back to the API endpoint and send the request again. So truly, it really failed. So it's saying unauthorized. Well, can somebody tell me what is going wrong there? Why me trying to run the Postman runner, and almost all my tests is failing.
Because of this place, you have not changed the environment.
Yeah, so because I haven't changed my environment, so sometimes it convinces us, we just be imagining that, this test you ran yesterday is failing today, and you didn't know because you have not changed your environment. So it's always necessary, we pay attention to all these little things. And an example is, you setting an environment variable, and instead of you copying and paste, from the response body, you are typing yourself, and typo error, in quotes, generally, you know, affects us, especially when you are performing automation. So if you are performing on automation, okay, next week we'll pick up Cypress. If you are performing automation, always copy and paste. Don't type. You might think you type the right thing and you ended up typing the wrong thing and your test failing and you are giving yourself headache which you don't know. Okay, you're supposed to use capital U here and you are using small u here, so you might just waste like 5 hours or maybe some days, you trying to troubleshoot, error that is just supposed to be fixed in less than a seconds. So those are tips I'm giving you guys. So we've already changed our environment now. So let's run this collection folder again. Still feels this one. Okay.
Sister, I think it has not even changed.
If not,
That Lagos for the studio.
let's see. Yeah. Okay. Ah, voila. What's going on? Village people are here.
It's the environment, I think.
It's okay. Let me use this one. Let me just use this 5 tests here. Let's see if we have tests in there. Okay, we don't have tests in there. Okay, I know what is wrong now. So I know what is wrong now. So API tags test. Okay. So um let's troubleshoot together. So let me send this request. Okay, everything passes there. So let's run the Postman collection on again. Let me close all the tabs here. So let's run this guy again. So let's run this guy again. Yeah. So you can see only just 2 tests failed, which is delay response. So once you notice any of your tests is failing, so all you just need to do is just come to the field test, look for the test that is failing. You can see delay response. If I scroll down to delay response, body matches string field, then successful post request field. So if you click on delay response, so by default, this test script that was added, where is it? Okay, this test script that was added is not supposed to be here. It is meant to be a post request script. So sometimes there are some post request scripts, that you will send. You are meant to get a 201 or a 202, which is data was successfully created, in the database. So it's not really necessary we add this test, to this endpoint. So because it's a get request, not a post request. So let's send this guy again. So one of the tests is still failing again. So let's see. Okay, you can see body matching string. So string you want to search, we didn't add any string, so that is why it's failing. So let me come to the body here. Let me assume I want to validate that okay, this girl here, Funke Tubosun abi Tubios, Tubies. Okay, this Funke girl, is there. So let me send this first. Okay, you can see the test part. pass now, and don't forget to click save. So you can go to your Postman runner and rerun your test again. So you know that example I gave for a banking app. So this is how they fix issue. So once they get a feedback, maybe server is down or whatever issue it is. So they refer to the API, run the API because the API is being automated, with dummy data. So once they run the API and okay, they see maybe okay one services is failing, so they know okay this is where the fault is coming from. Liaise with the developer and fix the issue, retest again, and you can see all our tests pass. So I want to teach us how to run you know how to integrate your tests on command line, how to automate your API on command line. So for you to automate, so you need to follow some certain step as seen on the screen, So there is a tool called Newman. So Newman is used, to run API collection, and for us to know how to use this tool. So let me just talk about the tool. So Newman is a command line, command line connection runner, for Postman. So it allows you to effortlessly run and test a Postman collection directly, from command line. So it is built extensively, to mind so that you can easily integrate with your continuous integration server and build a system, and we will know how to use Newman now. So let's first thing we need to do while before we can automate our API, we need to come to our API collection. So once we come to our API collection, and we've already run our test report and it passed. And remember, you can always export your test results. So once you click on this export result here. So it automatically export result. So let's assume I want to add this um, test. So for you, or you can create you can create a folder on your desktop and name the folder Postman. So which I've done already. I've already created a folder in my Postman and I name it Postman collection. So let me just update, rename the. So while saving your test result, always save it your result should always be saved as dot JSON. So let me say request RUQRUS, request dot JSON, and it's been saved in my on my desktop inside Postman Postman folder. So I've already saved in my test there, and I need to run on command line or your terminal. So for you to run on terminal, first you need to do, you need to install Newman, and right before you install Newman, you have to make sure you have Node.js, being installed, in your machine, and then you can install Newman. So I believe we all have Node.js, on our. So I believe we should all have Node.js on our system now. So for you to know you have Node.js, you go to your command line. That means your command prompt. So if you go to your command prompt and you type in if you execute your terminal or your command line, let me put it on the screen for us to see. So if you execute your command line and do node dash v, so it will give you the version of Node you are using as seen on the screen. So I'm using version 16.4. So because I have Node on my PC, and if you don't have Node.js on your computer, you can just do download JS. You can Google download JS, on Google, and to take you to Node.js website for you to download Node.js. So since I have Node.js on my PC, so I can just come down to my terminal. I will click enter. I'll come down to my terminal here. Then I'll pass in this line npm install dash j new Newman. Does anybody know the meaning of NPM? So you can be asked, at interview, okay, what's the meaning of NPM? Or, okay, why are you automating your API request? What's the first thing you need to do? You need to launch your terminal or your command line. So what's the line of script you need to pass in? You need to make sure you have Node.js installed. Then next thing you need to do is to perform npm install dash j Newman. So if you pass in this value now, npm install dash j Newman, so it will automatically install Postman, in your machine. So npm means node package manager. Node package manager. So if you execute this line of command, which is npm install -j, so it starts installing Newman in your machine. So are we all able to install to execute that line?
Sir, mine is saying error or something.
Sir, what do you have for to load what?
My system is saying error.
You are passing in npm.
You said load what? Load.
Node.js. Yeah, installing. Pkg. Let me see. Mac installer. Yeah, do Mac installer pkg. Yeah.
Sir, I can't hear you. Load.
David, please, can you help us write that in the comment section?
Okay. Let me.
So, hello, sir. Sorry. I did it, but it's showing error code something path something. Should I screenshot my screen and send to you?
Okay, just hold on, guys. So save this one. So I'll just drop it in the chat channel. So um, launch your close your terminal for those of us having error. So close your terminal again, then reopen and pass in the value I just dropped now in the chat section. Yeah, so close your terminal and relaunch your terminal. Then pass in npm install -j, then -j, then Newman. G. Don't you have no JS in your? Have you checked install JS? So install for Windows. Yeah, so go to your terminal and do node -j. Oh, sorry, I think V. Okay, I can see Saud was able to install Newman. Who else is unable to install? Or who else has installed? So if you are installed, is installing Newman.
I'm still unable to install. I'm still unable to install, sir.
Okay,
Still the same error.
okay. Another thing you can do, do npm install Newman. So remove the hyphen j. So just pass in npm install Newman on your command line. Install. No, no, no. Just npm install Newman. Let's see. Okay, good. So how far, guys? Are you able to install?
Yes. My own said found zero vulnerabilities. Like I think added 1 to 8 package.
Okay. So
I believe it's successful now, sir.
okay, so if we are all able to install Newman now, so the next thing we need to do is to execute, our test. So what we need to do now, you should close the terminal. So close the current terminal you're working on currently now. So close the terminal, and so once you close the terminal, you come to your those of us using Windows. So yeah, so for those of us using Windows, you will need to go to that your we've all expected the test results, from Postman, and it's been saved in the folder created on our desktop. So you go to your desktop, you go to the project folder and run terminal, or open command prompt from that folder. So you go to the folder, right click on the folder, and you can click open folder in new terminal, or open folder in command prompt. That means you should launch command prompt from that folder, from that Postman folder created in your desktop. So as seen on the screen, I'm about to execute mine. I'm right clicking on my Postman folder and open new terminal at folder. So you can see. So once you launch in your terminal or your command line, from the folder, you will see above the screen here, Postman, Bash, whatever. So it is all you. Or for those of us using Windows, you can come to the folder here and copy the paths, and you can do cd, then paste in the path, so it will automatically run from the. If you are using Mac, just come to the Postman folder created on the desktop here, right click and click on new terminal. So it will open.
Should we create a folder for the person?
Are you not following? You are
I
here
want to
with me
follow
now.
it.
You are here with me now. I said export your report, the report you ran from Postman. Export the report. I mentioned it now. New terminal at folder. You are not paying attention. If you are paying attention and you are here on site with me,
Sir,
I said
sorry, sir.
once you
I'm not
export
seeing
your
the Postman
results,
folder on my own desktop.
you are to create the Postman folder yourself on your desktop or your documents. Create it on your desktop or in your document folder. Name it Postman. So the report you exported from your Postman here, after running your test here, you export the report and save the report inside that Postman folder created in your desktop or your documents. Hmm? What you've created your Postman folder. You've saved the exported results in the. So you've opened it, right? Hold on.
Just show me. Created a folder. How you create folder? Should I should go back to that command?
Have you created a folder?
See,
Open the folder.
put the Postman.
No, you are not listening.
I'm listening. You do it.
Hello, babe.
Created a
Then you
new
should
folder
right click
and
and
named the
press.
folder Postman.
That's what I
Then
need.
if you right click, what options are we going to press?
So right click on that folder and get the part that is the directory part of that folder.
Mr. Newman, I've done it.
So go to your Postman application and export. Where is the test you ran?
Is it?
Have you run your test? Those tests you have you run it on Postman Runner?
Click it. Click this.
Have you run it on Postman Runner?
You do want to do it.
I was doing all this thing step by step and
Postman.
doing something else.
I'm not doing something else.
I was doing everything. Everything was showing on the screen. How I added tests to all these guys here. How I run it on Postman. How I expected the result inside the Postman folder created in my desktop. So for those of us that was able to create a folder and exported this Postman runner report results in the folder. So I've already exported my test results inside this folder here, which you can see here, and I named I named the exported results request.json, and I've already launched my command line, or my terminal, from this folder here you can see on the screen, and the next line test I need to execute now is I need to type in Newman run run this request.json. So you can type in the test request dot json. So please let's try and run it from our own and let me see the response we got. So on your terminal or your command prompt, so do Newman run request or whatever name you use in saving this file in the collection folder. So you can run it right from there.
Dave, please, I don't understand though. That when we create our folder and we right click, what options are we to press, please?
Okay, so let's do it this way. So let me take it from the start again. So you can ignore the part, you can ignore the exported Postman results. So come to Postman. You have this you've already added tests, to all this your have you all added tests to all these endpoints? Have you consumed all these API endpoints and you all added tests to it? Because if you don't add tests to it, there is no point you running your Postman collection on Postman runner or on CLI. So have you all added tests to it?
Yes, I have.
Share this. Say test.
Have you tested manually? Have you tested manually?
I have done this one.
So have you had tests to all the endpoints? I gave example of snippets you can add to your endpoints. If you want to check for status code, you can do status code there. Click on status code, and the Postman script will be generated there. Okay, maybe you want to validate the status code is 200. You can say 200 here. If you want to validate, it's at the right side of your screen. This is the snippet here. So if you want to validate,
She is here. She will click here. Very good. So it's no. Just thank you.
hmm? Hmm.
Just right click. Yes.
Click on test. So once you click on test, you will see at the right side of your screen here your snippet. So for those of us using Windows your screen is being this way. As the as the yes, okay, for those of us, maybe our response body here is doing by the side here, and you need to get your snippet, so you can click on this arrow button here. If it can't be your snippet, you can click on this arrow button here, so it will come out here. So click on this arrow button and you will see your snippet. So I gave example of snippets you can use. You can use the snippet to validate status code, which is 200. So you come to status code. Then once you click on status code 200, it will automatically generate the test script for status code. And probably maybe you want to check for 201 status code. You can easily just tweak, tweak the script and say 201. Okay, 201 is expected, as the status code you are expected, from the server. So I gave another example. Maybe you need to validate that. Okay, once you pass in the request, you want to see Michael. Michael should be part of the response body. Anytime you consume the endpoint. So you can do okay, body matches strength. You can do body matches strength. So once you click on body matches strength, so it will generate a test script to say, okay, PM test body matches strength, which includes Michael in the response body. So, and I also gave a I gave a time to a snippet for time too. So maybe we said, okay, this request shouldn't take maybe less than 5 seconds or 2 seconds. So 2 seconds is 2000 milliseconds anytime you perform the request. So let me say 2000 milliseconds. Once you click on response time is less than 200 milliseconds, you can say okay, 200 milliseconds. You can say 1000 milliseconds. How many seconds you want. You know, you want your test to be executed. Excuse me. So these are the sample of snippets we can use to validate our response body. So I've um I've answered your question. On snippet adding test. Yes, you've clicked on the snippet here. So what are you validating? This response body here says, okay, you have ID, you have token, you have for, you have this unique token. Okay, let's say you want to validate that. Okay, you once you execute this request, you want token to be present. So you've already used this snippet here. We say pm.test body matches string, which is function expect response body. That includes. What do you want to include? Is it not token you are looking for to validate the response body? So you highlight this guy here, take it out and put token. Because you are validating that token should be returned, in the response body when you perform the request. So you pick a string. So all these things you are looking down here, they are all called strings.
Check the song that we see.
Yes. So it's a string here. You can pick any string. Okay, maybe it's ID you are looking for. You will change this guy here, which is once you click on the snippet, you will come down here and put the value of strings you are looking for. Maybe it's ID. You pass in the ID. Excuse me. So you pass in ID, which is what you are looking for from here. So if you send this request now, if you check your test, where is the test result? Where is it showing your test result?
Check the receipt.
How did I change this? So you can see this is your test result. You said okay, body matches string, which is token. Token was present in your response body, and okay, you said why are you using two? But you're having 200 here. So if you must have tested manually before you can add any snippet you want to use.
Maybe testing manually means saving and sending, right?
Testing manually means testing manually means okay, you are supposed to test this endpoint, which is this user. Let me assume let me assume this is your test. This is your API, and you want to test this guy. Okay, you set your base URL, you set your environment and everything, and you send this request. It returns this value. Page 2, ID, email, first name, Michael, everything. And you check your documentation. You check your documentation. You check your documentation. Everything matches as expected. page 2, Michael, everything, ID. Then you need to, okay, as a tester, you need to test, like I explained, with the banking app this thing, you need to automate the API to say, okay, every time they run this collection, you want to check for which endpoint is failing. Okay, which of the tests is passing, which of the test is failing. This is the reason why you need to add tests to this endpoint here. That every time you run it on Postman runner, you want to see, okay, will this thing fail? Will this thing pass? An example of a failed endpoint or a failed collection. For example, now maybe the server have issue tomorrow and people are unable to log in, maybe customers are unable to log in, you come to API to run all the tests again. Let's see, okay, the automated script you've already created, for your API collection, okay, which one is passing, which one is failing. Do you get? So this is the reason why we use all these snippets, and these are just dummy snippets you can use. I showed you the advanced test script, you can create on your own and start using, to add them to your test. So let's assume I sent this value, and remember, you are using this response body down here, to create, tests you want to execute. So let's assume now, okay, I want to test that, okay, anytime I consume this endpoint, this string here, Michael, it can be Michael, it can be this first name. Okay, let's try something. Let's try something. Let's try something. I want to send a request that will not return this value. That won't return this value. Let me say, let me change this to 1. Let me send this request. So you can see I send this request and it gave me George as the first listing. And by default, I've already added a test script which says body matches Michael or matches this string Michael. The response code, the response time shouldn't be less than 200 milliseconds. That is 2 seconds. I should get a response. Then the status code should be 200. I've already set this. I've added all these test scripts. So remember, this is just an example. Remember, every time I run this guy here, all my tests is always passing when I run on Postman collection on Postman runner. And tomorrow comes, I now run this request. Let's assume, okay, maybe this is a glitch from the server or something. So I now run this. I ran this Postman collection. Like I send this request, and you can see one of my tests failed, which is this. So what has validated my test to failed is this test script that I've added to this API request. Are you getting me? So these are the reason why we add test script, to our API request. And mind you, you must have tests manually, to validate the response you are getting, from the response body. So you can see, is that understood? So now we've run all these tests in Postman runner, everything passed, everything failed. So we want to integrate our tests,
Are we going to do it for everything?
of course now. If you are testing API, you will add test script to all the endpoints. That is the essence of you testing API as a QA. You understand? So let's assume we've tested all this guy, we've added test script to it. And mind you, you can add as many as possible tests, to an endpoint. You can see this guy just only have 3 tests. It can have like 4 tests, depending on how the how the response body is being designed. So for us to automate this guy now after running on Postman and everything passed on command line on terminal. So you right click on this guy here, you click on sorry, we want to run on command line. So you right click this guy here, then come to export. So if you click on export, it will show you this dialog box, giving you options of version you want to um, export as. And anytime you perform export from Postman, it's always saved as .json file. So by default, it's always version 2.1, and you can just click on export. So once you click on export, you can decide to update your collection name. Like me, I like to update my collection name. So let me update it and name it request API. And whenever you are naming, you are saving this guy, you should always add it's always added by default with .json. Let me say request.json. Then remember we are saving it inside the Postman folder created on our desktop. So come to desktop here and look for the Postman folder that I've created already. Where's the Postman folder? Okay, the Postman folder is not created yet. So let me go back to the desktop and quickly create Postman folder. So you can see I just created the Postman folder. So I'll click on Postman folder and save this guy in there. So you can see collection was exported successfully at the right bottom of your screen. So the next thing I need to do now is to run this collection file, in my command line or my terminal. So let me minimize this guy. So let me drag my Postman. So for us using Mac, you can just right click on this folder here and tell terminal to run from this folder, new terminal at this folder. So once you run terminal at this folder here, and remember you must have installed Node.js on your machine. So the next thing you need to do, you need to install Newman, and I gave us the line to install Newman, which is npm install -g Newman, or npm install Newman for those of us using Windows especially. So now we need to execute this. We need to execute the JSON collection folder, that was being exported. So you do Newman run what request.json request. So whatever name you use in saving that collection folder inside your Postman folder, so you add it here, request.json. So I don't know why I'm having this command not found, but run it from your own end. Let me see the response you will get.
Hello? Dave, we that we are using Windows, there's no option like run on terminal when I right click on my
Okay,
folder.
so for you guys using Windows, so you come to right click on the folder. Right click on the folder. So once you right click on the folder, right click on the Postman folder created on your desktop.
Mm-hmm.
Please hold on. So so once you come to the folder, you saved your collection on the desktop. So right click on that folder. So right click on that folder and you can come to no, just right click on the folder. Open the folder, sorry. Then click on the file in the folder. Then after clicking on the file in the folder, you will see at the bar on the bar of your screen where you see your PC, desktop, then Postman. Then double click on that guy. Double click on that bar. So once you double click on the bar, you will see c user slash your machine or whatever. Then copy out the parts. So once you copy out the parts, are you guys following? So
Yes.
once you copy out the parts, then you come to your command line, which is command prompt. So you come to your command prompt. So once you come to your command prompt, just type in cd, then paste cd, then paste in the parts. So once you do cd, then paste in the parts, it will automatically go and run command prompts from that folder you've created. Then you can now do then you can do Newman run.
Please, can you come again? You said if you open folder, then we click on the this thing. We'll click on the API. Then because me, I'm not seeing anything on my own, and I've opened my own folder.
Can I use yours? Let me use your laptop, please.
Hello,
So
Mr. Dave.
I'll be projecting with the Windows system now.
All right.
So can you view the screen now?
I can't.
I can't see the scene.
When you connect on it, so that
No. Your system is not connected to the internet.
it is.
So guys, can you view the screen?
No.
No.
You can't view.
Yes.
Ah,
No.
oh. I'm the one presenting. Can't do this now.
Open it.
Mm,
What happened to your system? Open Google Meet.
what?
Open Google Meet. Keep trying to.
Is your WhatsApp connected? do I get the meeting link? The meeting link. Can you mute? Hold on, guys. I don't know with all this thing. Is it not? So let me just play a video how to copy directory path from Windows. See the stress you guys are giving me. Guys, are you there?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you view my screen?
Yeah.
Yes, it's visible.
So
Yes, sir.
so you can see, click on your PC, then click on the folder up here, up this side, double click on this guy. So if you double click on this guy up here, that is at this side of the screen here, it will show you the path. This side of the screen here, now all you just need to just do is highlight and copy. You can see, so you can just double click and it will just show you the path. So all you just need to just do highlight and copy. Yeah, so that is it. Do we all get that now? Hello.
Yes, good.
Yeah, so go
Yes,
to
sir.
your go to the Postman folder. Go to the Postman folder. Then once you are in the Postman folder, click on that click on the Postman collection JSON file. Then once you click on the collection JSON file, go to that bar that is at the top of the screen there. Double click on that bar, then it will show your path. So once you copy out the path, then you come to your terminal. Yeah, then you do CD, then paste in the path. So once you paste in the path, it will run terminal from the from the folder.
Please, you said we'll click CD before we post this thing, the stuff we copied.
What?
What did you say we're going to
You copy out the path, the folder path.
yes, after copying out the parts to paste it on our on our command prompt, so that we're going to write first before we
So
paste.
once you copy the path, you do CD, then paste in the path.
Okay.
So you do CD, then you paste in the path, the C drive slash whatever whatever. So once you paste in the part, you click enter. So it automatically run your terminal from that folder. Then once that is done, you can do run Newman run the Newman run the Newman run the file. That is this file. The name you run the name, request JSON that you use in saving the JSON file in your Postman folder. So once you run that, let me see what you get. So you will get error because no test was added. So let's see, you have you executed 14, then 13 failed. So guys, are we able to run our test on command line?
It's alright.
Hello guys.
So maybe once you put that in the S will run automatically, right?
Hmm?
Once you put that command, the S will run.
No, still not able to run that case.
Guys, are we still together?
Unable to run.
Okay, let me show you another way. So write on your terminal. Remember your let me run this guy from let me run my terminal from the folder. So let me run this guy. Who is that? So once you are running your terminal, from the Postman folder, then you can come to the folder here and the terminal here and do Newman. Can do Newman run, then drag this file that was being saved in your Postman collection into your command line on your terminal. Then click enter. So let me hear your response. So once you click enter, you should start running your test. Any response?
Okay, yes.
Is your test running now? To update your account, use ZCH. It's run.
Um. Oh no. Said error. Invalid command.
So once you do that, your test should run. Anybody have a successful test run? You can see yours run now because you have not had test to. Yeah, so add test to it, then follow that same step. How about you?
Maybe honestly, this I need to start from the beginning. I need to start from the beginning, seriously. Because I created everything in the first. So I couldn't do any test.
So you did your test run.
I've not set, but I know how to do it. This one's
But once the command is done,
Yeah, your test will run. So anybody have a test run?
this thing will be smart. Please, then my environment does not be set. You understand? I'm ready to use this. Yeah, I want to call me this one. Okay?
Let me change my show.
Let's do this one together. So we say we'll come here. To start from putting this one. This one. So we are done this thing. So I'm gonna do something all the manner. So you have all this. So I have it's only this one. And you just is this where you brought them from? Is this where they came from? I think all this just don't worry, do another one little. My test. This is test. This is my test. Test. I'll first click test. So you choose which one you want to do. Choose one that is your this is dark. So once you click it, this will come out. Okay. Yes. So it's from the body. What's the body?
Running your terminal from the Postman folder here, and you do Newman run the file directory. Your test should run because it's running on someone's system here.
Okay, I think something I did copy.
this aspect now, the new creates any authentication.
That's why see, I don't have
In this test,
I'll put generative now. So what
you have
is
to do authentication.
okay, it's only generative. So this is the first script I write. So you write about 2 to 3 scripts for each. Okay, I should not look for the second one. So maybe you
Please
can
let me telling you in case
at
if I
least
go wrong, that will not work. Let's see to do.
response to have status to that much is 200. You can change it to me. That's what I was trying to use it to see. 200 is okay. Yeah, next one. What would I not do? Let's go. Still okay. Now what is the third one I will select? And then you select anything. You select anything. This is your see your. But what am I looking for now?
So three.
Just this one. Response
When
and
is
their
my
content.
Yeah,
section?
Jason value check.
in as no one.
Which one do you see the after that? See, only two that you do. Maybe you can do this successful post. The status code. Response code to be.
Yeah, guys, what's the next move? Anybody?
This
Hello. If you follow the step I've given to us, we shouldn't have problem running this test.
Yes, I did, but it's still not working.
It's still not working.
No.
Can you share your
But
screen?
this one now,
Okay.
this one, aside from getting this one, the third one, this one, you do this one,
Wait a minute.
and you didn't do this one. But you do anything you get Mr. David,
Hmm?
see this one now. I chose this one. Status code successful post request. Maybe I can do two or three. Abi. Yeah. But it says you should do up to like three or four.
If your response body says 200 okay, she needs 200 okay.
No, when I click it, that's when it brought this one out.
And but it's not a
So
post.
she
It's
wants
a
to
post
write.
request, but it's not returning back 200 201 status code now.
Okay, I should just change it to 200. Eh?
There is a status code for 200.
Okay. Let me delete this one.
David, can you paste that pm.environment that prepared quick text this thing on the WhatsApp system so that we can be able to organize it.
Mr. David.
Go to your WhatsApp
Okay.
and read all this guide. You will see everything you need there.
So, Mr. David, I've done this too. Body match string. I've put Janet there. Then this one I put 200. The status code of this one is 200. I've chosen the one of 200 there. So what else do I do?
Yes, you see all the status code. There is time now. You can ask Snippet for time. You can ask Snippet to add, okay, Janet should be in this
I put Janet here. I put Janet here.
okay. So
Shade 2 is okay like this.
you can have two, you can have more than two, depending on the test you're carrying on.
Okay, so what do I do now? I've now sent it. Mr. David, let's save and send.
Yeah, you save and
We'll
send.
save and send. See what time
Can I share my screen now?
Yes, you
send
can.
our
Let
direct.
me, Mr.
Send.
Dave.
Yes.
Mine is showing executed, failed, iterations, request, test scripts, then total run duration. I don't know if it's successful, but the executed and failed is just showing 0000.
This is your response now.
Hmm.
Be saved.
Just hold on. Let me see what
To that folder.
Alright.
Yeah, here I install
Sunday.
Node
Right click on request.
and I write down the run that file where my Postman file is. And the message I got is illegal operation on directory. Hello? Hello, David.
Yeah, sorry, I can hear you. Oh yeah, Tajin, you can present your screen now. I didn't know I was mute.
Wow. Oh, then
So I said you should close that terminal, then run a fresh terminal from that Postman collection.
I'm promising.
Yeah, close this terminal, run a fresh terminal.
Newman. Newman.
Go to your, go to the Postman, go to the Postman on the folder collection, the desktop, no, desktop, where you saved, where you expected your results.
JC together.
You haven't pasting, you haven't you're supposed to go to Postman, go to Postman,
Yes. So I will now go to my folder.
go to your,
That's cool.
yeah, this QC test, click on the three button.
Go to folder. That's desktop. Add it. Then
No, export, you are supposed to export. Oh yeah, go to the collection, on the QC test, right click on the QC test, then export. Thank you. Okay, go to your go to your command line.
if I have no English, I will just go and do it.
Go back to your folder,
I have to click here
to
so
the
that they
previous
can see
folder.
that is this one I want to
Yeah, copy out the part.
the other side now.
Yeah, do CD and paste in the part.
You understand?
No, small letter, small letter CD. Enter. Oh yeah, drag in the file you exported. Type in. Wait, go back. Type in Newman run.
Yes.
Oh yeah, drag in that folder in here.
After this one,
I mean, drag in the file in here.
let me
Yeah, drag in this file in there.
so that we will now
Oh yeah,
understand.
take out this take out the yeah, that guy here. The apostrophe. Yeah, take it out.
Yeah, so that's just it. The sense of
Use back key. No. Use the back key. Back key. Yeah. Space. Yeah. Add JSON. Is there on to the JS.
Mr. David,
JSON.
should I enter this one first?
Yeah. Click enter.
So you're on the command. Yes, remove this. Okay.
I say that's same error. Unable to read the data from file.
Okay. Let's try it again. So do Newman run. Then drag in the quality on the file in there.
David, I also same error.
Yeah, drag in there. Yeah, enter.
Newman. Space.
No. There's no need. Don't change anything. Just
Okay.
drag it there and enter.
Yep. Got it.
You don't just do it this way. Okay.
You need
Let
to
me
add
just place
space
that.
in between that run and the file.
Fine.
Yeah.
On this same line, yes. Newman.
So you can see your test is running now.
Yes, 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 sir.
So Tajin just run his test successfully now.
Yes, yes, yes. Got it. Thank you.
I think it's better to be two lines.
So Precious, you can follow that approach.
All right,
Yes, sir.
let me try.
So did you all get that now?
Newman run. Just look that. Regress this one.
Please, Tajin, can you do that again? Can you run the
Okay,
test
fine.
again for everybody to see on the
Yeah.
screen?
Paste that in the bottom.
Mm, CD.
Please watch the screen. See where it's going to run the test. Oh yeah, go to your Postman. Delete the previous folder. Go to your Postman, export the file, delete all this, close the terminal, then delete the folder, the Postman folder, the initial Postman folder, then open a fresh one, export your collection, then run on terminal. Just do everything
Sir,
all over again.
David,
Yes.
my program is run successfully.
Okay, that's fine. So let
Okay.
Tajin run for us again, so everybody can see.
Okay, what should I do now? Run that test cases
No,
again?
no, no, no. Close this terminal. Close this terminal and do everything all over again.
Okay, fine. Command prompt. Newman run.
So as you can see the report now, you can see the number of iteration, and you can see all the listed endpoints, and you can see all the tests that was passed in. You can see the status code, and you can see the kilobytes, the size of the request, and you can see the time it took for the request to be executed. So if you scroll down, there's a table to analyze your results. So you can see you have um, you have how many tests do you have? Okay, you have 15 assertion, you have 17 reports, 17 results. Then you the number of iteration is one, so you only run the test one, and you have 16 test scripts, and one of them failed to make everything 17. And there was no pre-request script added, to your test. So that is why it's not capturing pre-request script. Assuming you add pre-request script, so it will have captured the pre-request script if it ran or failed. So that is it on how to run your test on command line and terminal. You are you have to as a tester you have to include request script if required for your test. And I mentioned if you have the case of you having to register an account, and because you'll be running you'll be using Postman runner, time to time. I know maybe a register. You can't re-register with the same ID that was being existed. So that's why you need to add request okay to generate random data to run a test.
We didn't get what the guy did. We should do Newman run, then we should paste that stuff. I've already copied it. It has been imported already.
Where's the Postman folder?
This is it. This is the Postman folder. This is the one I imported.
This one.
Yes.
So why are you having one?
I'm the one that put it there so that it can be different.
Your
from
file is meant to be saved as .json. If you run this one now, it will fail. So take out the one.
like this. I started with like this. Just like this.
.json.
I put it there. The thing disappeared. This is the work. Yes, yes, yes. It's killing me. We'll see difference.
So the reason why you are doing this thing, you are telling command line to go and run from this folder. So which is why you did cd run terminal from this folder. So once you run terminal from this folder, then you can now run your test now. I said say Newman. Run. Then you can come to the folder here. You can come to the folder here and copy out the path. Copy out.
This makes it different.
You can either you drag or you copy out the path. So you drag this guy in here. So you can see it's already dragged. Click enter. Just start running.
Wow, it's not hard now. You didn't tell me, David.
Also, you guys are not following.
We are following. See, Mr. David, the way all of us assimilate are different.
So, guys, that will be all for today. Would there be any question? Would there be any question before we wrap up the class?
No, sir.
Alright, so now I believe we can all run our test on command line. Um, we can add test script to our API endpoints. Then also we can also automate our API now using Postrunner and Newman. And also we can also use pre-request scripts. We can also use pre-request scripts to generate random data for our test. So let's call it a wrap up for today.
Yes.
So thank you all for joining. See you all
Okay,
on
thank you.
Wednesday.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Spend the rest of the day.
Okay,
Can we
Thank you so much, sir.